This is a fight with ArchaeAvis in the Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta. This is run number 3 of 2019. I'm recording commentary on this fight just to kind of show you what I'm working through here. I have 2 Black Mages, a Summoner, and a Bard. The Bard starts off with Regen Song. The ArchaeAvis starts off with Wind Slash. Now, so the Regen Song in an extended battle like this is actually super valuable, especially when I don't have access to any area of effect healing. So I'm able to regain a whole lot of HP with the Regen Song. The ArchaeAvis starts with a lot of physical resistance and very little magic resistance. So we're able to really damage it down with these Bolt 2s. So everybody's casting Bolt 2s, but as it goes through its forms, it starts to become more susceptible to physical attacks and less so to magic attacks. So you'll see our damage start to go down. We're on the second form already. You watch for that little delay, that little gap in the ATB bar. There's a little hiccup that kind of tells you that it's changing forms, or you can count hit points. Each form has 1,600 hit points. The first 3 forms absorb different elements and have different weaknesses, but I always like to start with Bolt or Thunder because the last of its regular forms is the one that absorbs Thunder. So I go with Thunder for the first 3 forms, and then I switch to Ice. That's my standard elemental. I don't switch around a lot. I just keep everybody with Rod boosted Bolt 2s here to get it all the way down as much as I can. So there, it used another AoE attack, and without area of effect healing, it's actually pretty dangerous. So my Bard has black magic. I could have put summon magic on him. He had access to the summons, and actually I meant to do that so he had a little more versatility so that he could cast the big level 2 elemental summons for the first form and then go to the physical summon, which we'll see in the last part, but I mismenued there before I did this fight, and I didn't have to re-roll, so we didn't go back and change it. So I did mismenu with my Bard. So now you see we're switching everybody from a Thunder Rod to an Ice Rod. Yes, of course, this is the Japanese Super Famicom version, played on a North American Super NES. So we're switching to the Ice Rod and casting the ice spells. That's the claw attack that is a paralyze attack. So sadly, my Black Mage is paralyzed and took a bunch of damage. I did spread out my physical evasion items, so I think my 2 Black Mages have Elf Capes and my Bard has the Guardian Dagger. So all of them, except for Bart's, can dodge physical attacks. But we'll see a couple of those pop up. So as soon as this one is done with its 1,600 hit points, it fades away, and it summons we call it the undead form. Even the algorithms guide calls it the undead form of ArchaeAvis, but it's not actually undead in the stats routine, so we can't damage it with healing items. Now, it absorbs all of the elemental damage that we can inflict, and it has as we'll see, a super high magic resistance. So what I'm doing here is Chocobo Kick, which is a physical attack, or its damage is a physical attack routine. And so at this point, here's where I was hoping that my Bard had summon magic, because he could also summon the Chocobo and do some physical damage to this guy, but because of the mismenuing, all he can do is kind of be my heal bot. This is the Black Mage attempting to cast, I believe it's Sylph. And Sylph, the damage there is magic damage, and it is split among my party members to heal. So you see that it did very little damage because it's trying to hit through magic resistance and not through its physical resistance. So I'm hoping to see a fat Chocobo. Sadly, we don't actually pick one up, which is too bad. But we are doing enough damage with this to make it through. So ArchaeAvis, the last form, I'll give you the stats here, the undead form, has magic defense of 30, which is really big. Its physical defense is only 6, so that's why it's able to really push down my Sylph attack. But if I get a fat Chocobo, it's going to do roughly 3 times that damage, so it could be closer to 600 damage if I have one pop up. I don't believe we do. I did use a high potion there on Ferris because Ferris is in death range of one of the AoE attacks that this thing can put up. So I had to make sure that she was taken care of. Because if he does use Blaze or something, Blaze is kind of the nastiest one because it does over 200 by itself, and then it inflicts the sap status. So if you are in like the 250 range, it can kill you before you get a chance to heal. It'll do all the damage, and then before you can heal him up, it'll finish him off. But those regen ticks are just helping everybody out, and I'm getting pretty good luck with his routine in that in this final form, it's choosing to use most of its single targeting attacks. The Bard there took off the Guardian Dagger and put on the regular knife. That's Lena's knife. It's a unique item that comes with Lena at the beginning of the game. I usually hold on to it just for confusion knocking out, because it has the knife damage values, which are it's 100% chance to hit. You can't crit with it like you can on punches, and then it does very, very little damage. In fact, once you get some decent armor, which this party doesn't really have, it does 0 damage. So for most of the late game, that knife will do 0 damage to knock somebody out of charm status. So when ArchaeAvis uses, I think the name of the confusion attack is something like claw or wing, something like that. So we have another Chocobo kick there. They're going to be doing about 200. This last form has 2,500 hit points. So 200 at a time, 200 at a time, 200 at a time, finally takes it down. And that is the end of the ArchaeAvis fight in this Team 750 Run 3 of 2019. And now we're going to find out what our Earth job is going to be.